Nice. So yes, let's just enjoy a bit of yoga together. And I'm going to mute my computer so that it's not going to ping every time someone tries to message me on. So I'm going to mute my computer, so I won't be able to hear you if you call out. But I don't want those beeps happening. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me absolutely fine. Maybe just do this to say you can. Great, perfect. Okay. Okay, wonderful. So let's start in a comfortable seated position. So that may be kneeling, and you might, or it might be cross-legged, and you might have a blanket underneath. Help tilt your pelvis slightly. And we'll begin by just bringing in a little bit of awareness. A little bit of awareness to how we're sitting. So let's start by deepening the breath. I actually sometimes like to start, I think I did this yesterday as well, with holding my hand, one hand at the heart and one hand on the belly. And it's a lovely way to center, especially if there's been, with online classes and things, there's a bit of often a bit of technical stuff and things. It can be nice to just ground and center with your hand, one hand on the heart chakra and one hand on the sacral chakra area, on your belly. So inhaling, feeling your hands raise with your belly and your chest, lifting through the crown of the head, and exhaling, feeling the softening in the shoulders, and feeling your hands gently just drop as your belly and your chest and your rib cage start to deflate slightly back towards the spine. Inhale, expansion and gentle lifting and guiding upwards. Exhale, the softening of your face muscles, softening of your shoulders, softening of your torso. Inhale, expansion and elongation. Exhale, gentle softening. Deepening the inhale and lengthening the exhale. Deepening and lengthening. Taking another breath, feeling the lifting, the expanding, feeling the softening, the gentle contracting back towards the spine. Lovely. We'll start together with our on vibration. You could bring your both hands to the heart center. We all breathe in together and chant the on vibration 3 times, breathing in. And gently opening the eyes. We place the hands on the knees. We can start by, let's just start with the neck. So we're still feeling that lifting from the crown of the head. So the heart is resting over the pelvis and the head is resting over the heart. We're just going to start by gently moving the neck from side to side. So exhaling over, looking over your left side and inhaling forward. Exhaling over and inhale. In your own time, just as gently as you need to. Inhale forward and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time on the other side. Inhale forward and exhale over. And we're going to bring down to the left. Mic, that's gone bad. Hopefully it's fine. So inhaling up, exhaling over to the side. Inhale up and exhale over. So we're keeping the shoulders lovely and relaxed. So you're stretching out this muscle down here. But being as gentle as you can, because actually it's quite, it's basically the, if you get a stiff neck, this tends to be the muscle that gets slightly pulled and causes that. So just being gentle. Inhale up, exhale over, lovely. Exhale over. So that if you're even on both sides, then coming back up, bring your head straight, and then we're going to come into our circles. So exhaling down and around, up. So that's exhaling up here, taking a breath in, and all the way down the other side. So be really careful the back of your neck. So we're only just going over, rather than crunching the back of the neck, we're going over like a rainbow. So carry on 3 circles on either side. And then when you've taken 3 on that way round, then going opposite direction. Inhale and exhale. So however the breathing was for you, however it's working for you, whether it's inhale up and exhale down, or the other way around, that's fine. Just being careful with the neck, being gentle. And when you finish your 3 going in that direction, bringing your head up. Fantastic. Okay, and then let's bring in the shoulders. So lifting up the shoulders and exhale down. Lifting up, inhale up and exhale down. Inhale and breath out. Lovely. Great. When I said I need to do this, do practice every day, it's true. It's like this kind of thing becomes an everyday thing, isn't it? Oh, for me anyway. Lovely. Okay, let's lift up the shoulders and then we'll bring them forward. So we're doing forward rotations of the shoulders. If you were with me yesterday, I think there was 1 or 2 of you, I can't remember. Then we did quite a strong, I think we did some strong shoulder ones. I can't remember. God, goodness. Anyway, my shoulders are sore this morning for some reason. I can't remember why. So, this afternoon. So, really rotating your shoulders forward and then rotating backwards. Lovely. That's great. Fantastic. Okay. And then let's bring out the arms, and we'll just have a little flick. So we're flicking the hands, so it's quite strong on your arms. And then bringing your hands up and forward. Feeling the muscles kind of really going for it. And if you're feeling like you're getting tight in your neck, so think your neck free. So just like allow your neck to relax as you're doing this arm work. And this is quite strong, so do come down if you've had enough. You don't have to stay up for as long as this. It's quite a strong thing doing all this arm work. And then shaking out. Lovely, great. Okay, so bringing the right arm round and then hooking it in the crease here of the elbow. So we're stretching out your right elbow. We're keeping the elbow, inviting it, encouraging it away from your ear. And then while we're sitting, we're using our abdominal muscles to keep us nice and strong while we're sitting and feeling that. You can imagine a golden thread lifting you from the crown of the head. So that's where we have our upright, lovely upright position. Keeping ourselves strong and looking after our back. Okay, and then the other way. So the left hand is in here, little crease of the elbow of the right hand, and encouraging the shoulder, gently encouraging it downwards. Lovely deep breaths. And then releasing down. That's fantastic. Okay, so we'll just have a little, we're going to have a little movement here. Sometimes gets called seated cat. So we'll exhale back and we'll allow the hands to drop down and rest on the knees, curving the spine as we exhale. Our neck can slightly curve as well, being part of the spine. And then inhale, we're curving the spine in the other way, opening up the chest. And the neck can go slightly back. So we're really allowing the neck to be, because it's our cervical, our neck is our cervical spine, so it's part of our spine. So we're allowing it to curve with the rest of our spine. Exhale, rounding the back, rounding the shoulders. Inhale, the hands are going back onto the thighs, opening up the chest. Exhale, the wrists are on the knees, hands hanging off. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, and if you were kneeling, this is still completely possible as well. It's just slightly different. You can still do the curving of the spine. Exhale. And then bringing the spine back to neutral. That's great, okay. So placing the hands behind, and then we're going to bring feet, plant the feet down, knees up, and then knees side to side. Just rocking from side to side. Little twist, but it's kind of like rocking at your hips. And then bringing the knees back to stillness. And coming onto all fours. So we're going to bring ourselves up onto all fours, Madhurasana, the cat. This is the posture for that. And so if you get sore knees, sometimes it's quite nice to put a blanket underneath your knees here. So you just get to like have a bit of a, and sometimes with your hands as well, actually, some people get sore hands. So let's start with our spinal awareness. So we'll just start by really feeling into however our body wants to move. So it's going to be moving in any direction. The only guideline is we keep the hands and
the knees planted on the mat for this one. So we're just keeping ourselves, so you just got one little bit of structure in it. Other than that, you can really go wherever you want. But feeling into your body and how it feels right now, how it feels today, this evening, as opposed to how it might have felt this morning. You could always come, it's quite fun really, because you can come back into child, you can always come into some kind of cobra-y thing or whatever it is, and you can sway your hips. A little bit of scooping. Whatever feels the most beneficial in this moment right now. Lots of deep breaths. Remembering your breath is really guiding the movement. So the movement follows the breath. And so really swooshing from side to side. And then bringing your body back to stillness. Maybe come down for a moment and give your wrists a little dance out. So have a little dance with your wrists. And then bringing yourself back up. And we're going to come into the traditional cat flexions and extensions. So your hands are shoulder width apart, and your knees are hip width apart. And we're inhaling up, looking up, exhaling, arching the back towards the ceiling and looking between the knees. Inhale up, exhale. And when you exhale, you can have this moment of lifting up the pelvic floor, so your mulla bandha, that's the muscles all around your pelvis, all around your vaginal birth canal, vaginal canal, and lifting up your abdominal muscle, so your inner muscle. So it's a great way of strengthening. If you're on your moon time or anything like that, it's good just to keep yourself nice and soft in that area. There's no need to engage the muscles, but if it's the right time for you, then it's great and great for a bit of extra exercise, a bit of toning and internal toning. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, looking between your knees. Exhale. And then bringing the spine back to stillness, back to neutral spine. And gently guide the body back, guide your bottom back towards your heels and coming into child. So let's come into relaxed child, as in we can still have the arms in front of us, but they're slightly relaxed for a moment. So keeping yourself in a relaxed, restful child. And if you have issues with your knees, like it's hard to bend your knees, you can place a blanket between your knees, and that can sometimes help. For certain people, it can help. Or you can, again, like I had before, the blanket can be underneath them. That can be nice. So while we're in this child, let's start to open up the knees. So if it feels, either stay as you were, if it's comfortable, then if it's okay to do so, you open up the knees and you can touch your big toes together. So you're an extended child. And reaching out your hands. So this is to give yourself an extra bit of a stretch. So it is an extended, more of a dynamic child posture. And if it's hard for you, this is a modification. If it's hard to be in child and you can't put your head on the mat or anything like that, you can use your fists. Like you have one fist stacked on the other and you can rest as there, or anything like that. So blocks or anything as well. And let's do side stretch again. I actually really find it hard to go into child now and not do a side stretch because I love it so much. So you're just going to have to humour me because I just love it. So we're going to go into a side stretch over to the left, and we're stretching out a right arm. We're stretching out the right arm, and the left arm is just nice and relaxed. So really breathe into the right side of your body. And start to bring your hands back to center. And then move over to the right, so you're stretching out your left arm and your right arm is a bit relaxed. Lovely deep breaths, remembering that's your main focus of the breath. And the breath will really encourage your muscles to relax. Every time we breathe deeply, we're calming our nervous system, which is calming our muscles. And gently begin to, actually, yeah, that's right, we're going to come up slightly on our knees and then bring the knees in a little bit, so they're hip width apart. And then we're going to stretch out the hands and plant the weight into your thumb and forefinger. Turn around the toes and then bring ourselves up into downward dog. So we're coming kind of straight up rather than going through into half dog and things. We're going to walk out the downward dog. So if downward dog is difficult for you, just keep coming down. Again, so you can just make sure you just keep coming down, then trying to go up. And it might be that actually you don't go into this V. If you see this V shape that I'm in, that might not be what your downward dog looks like. That doesn't matter, that's fine. So you're just doing whatever you can do. Might be like this. And so the thing is you're just giving it a go, and you're strengthening your arms as much as possible. You just keep strengthening. So every time you practice things like this, you're strengthening yourself. And if you really enjoy downward dog, you can give yourself a moment in a static held downward dog and lift up your mula bandha, pelvic floor, and your abdomen before walking gently bending your knees slightly and walking towards your hands, really just hanging there. Feet are hip width apart, and if you look at your feet, the outside edges of the feet are in line with the mat. They might look a bit slightly pigeon-toed. And you can just hang here in Uttanasana. This is a forward fold. Nice soft back of your knees. And gently swinging a little bit from side to side. Have a little swing. If it feels okay, and you might be, remember that you might even be up here, and that's fine. Great. Just wherever you are. The main thing is that you're stretching your body just a little bit. It doesn't matter how much it is. It can be different for everyone. And then we've got our hands on the elbows, and we're just going to swing and swing. And then gently lifting the one vertebra at a time. So you can release your hands now and gently stacking one vertebra at a time, bringing yourself back up. Really, really gently. And your head, of course, will be last. So you come up into Tadasana. This is the mountain posture. So you can't see my head, I don't think, but you can see my body, which is the main thing. So with mountain posture, we're gently tilting the pelvis just a little bit, bringing our abdominal band of strength around here, the core muscles. Just bringing them into, like, really keeping them nice and strong. Slightly opening up the shoulders, just gently, not forced at all. Holding the hands by our sides. And if you have a bit of a sway back like me, just being a little bit conscious that you lift from the crown of the head and that your heart is resting over your pelvis area and your head is resting over your heart area. So staying in that position. What a shame I can't quite see. I think I'll just do that so you can see a little bit more in case I'm needed to be seen. Okay, so yeah, okay, so in Tadasana, we're actually going to bring in our rotations. So we're actually going to come up onto one leg, so plant the left leg and bring out your right leg and rotate your right ankle one way. So remember, this is a fantastic core strengthening exercise at the moment with the balance. So you're really holding in your muscles, your inner abdominal muscles here. So keeping you strong, lifting up your pelvic floor, and then go the other way if you haven't already with your ankle. And then lifting up you're holding up your knee. So if you need to, don't forget you can use a wall. You can do this against a wall like this if it's too much to balance. So holding up under your thigh with your arms, and then we're going to just do our little rotations with our knee going around. And if you have any knee issues, be really careful. I mean, I always thought when on yoga trainings, I was like, is it safe to do this? But I've checked with physios and everything. This is a safe thing to do because your knee's relaxed. But just making sure that if you know that this is not okay for your knee, please don't do it. Rotating around. And then placing down. Hands on hips, we're coming to the hip. So lifting up your right leg and then really just working to the hip a little bit. Please be careful with hips as well, because we don't want triggering any nerve pain or anything. So doing a nice circling of your hip, hopefully that feels good. And then the other way. Keeping yourself as still as possible. So if you're finding you're wobbling about the place, actually it's better to use a wall because you're still strengthening. Even if you're using a wall, you're still strengthening your core muscles and you're still working on your hip. Great, I don't know which way I was going there, but I think it went both ways. So basically you don't need to do too much. You don't want to overwork into that hip. But yeah, just make sure you've gone both ways. So now we're lifting up the left leg and really planting the right leg. The right leg's our strength at the moment. And we're going round and round, so circling your ankle, your foot, one way. And then circling the other way. Lovely. And then bring your hands under your thighs and going one way. So your knee is going, this is your lower leg is going one way. Straighten the knee slightly and then the other way. Nice, strong, supported leg. This leg that's supporting is nice and strong. So being super careful. And then holding the hands on the hips. Don't forget you can have a wall. Hands on the hip and it's the hip. My yoga teacher, from my training, Devon School of Yoga, Duncan, he always says that he used to do like loads and loads of yoga. And then the other way, loads of yoga every day because that's what you could do. And then now it's like, does some kriyas and he does 10 minutes of rotations and that's what he does. He said, if there's anything you can do your joint rotations because you're keeping yourself supple. And then releasing down. There we are. Right, then we'll shake out the legs. Okay, and so we'll bring the feet shoulder width apart. Inhale forward. So I'm doing this kind of thing here. So I'm inhaling forward and then exhale as I go round. Inhale forward. I'm trying to keep, actually, my head, I know this doesn't look like it, my head is in line with my feet as possible. So I'm trying to move my head very much. So really the movement is coming from here. So this one, it's the hips together. This one, your hip rotating the hips is one unit. So your pelvic girdle is like rotating. You can feel it's doing interesting work. You feel your hips. Really being gentle on yourself. Carry on going. I'm just going to let someone in if they're still here. And then gently bringing the motion, reducing the motion, so bringing yourself back to stillness. Lovely. And we're going to come up now to our waist. This is the waist area we're focusing on. This is where we're moving from. The rest of the body is not really moving that much. So only the top. So anything below the waist isn't really moving. So exhaling, we're hanging down. Bring ourselves around. Inhaling, opening up chest. Exhale down. A bit like a rotating version of when we were doing the seated cat, where we're closing our chest and opening our chest. It's a bit like that, we'll be going around and round.
Mud all over there. How long is it for dinner? Have I got time to do a bit of yoga?
20 minutes. 20 minutes.
Oh, you're going crazy.
Exhale.
Mute yourself, Saskia.
And then the other direction. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then bring yourself back up. Lovely. Well done. Great. Okay, let's just have a little shake. A little shake out. Fantastic. Okay, cool. That's great. So, I know what I want to do. I've always got this massive list. But I'm going to take you. So we're going to come into tree. So we're going to come into a balance now. So planting your left leg down. So if you haven't done tree before, you can always just watch and just see how it is. And you can always just do a variation where you just lift up. Maybe just lift up your leg, or like just have your foot down like this, or you can hold onto the wall. So, okay, so we're lifting up the right leg and we're bringing it into either of three different places. One is down, so you'll just you've got your hip open, but your foot is down on the floor, your toes down the floor, or on your calf, where you're coming right up into the right up. You're really going to have to focus, or if your hand, especially if your foot is on your calf as well, you're finding a drishti, an eye gaze, so a point to focus on, something that isn't wobbling, so maybe not me. So I'm going to come down so that I can just focus on you guys. So I'll come down to here, so you can find your different places. So find your focus, holding in, remember your band of muscle here, your abdominal muscles, they're really going to be helping you right now. All the way around here, lifting up your pelvic floor, and then lifting up your branches of your tree.
So holding your tree lovely and tall. And you can feel the wind in your branches. Sway. You can even take a mudra like this. We have them up, so maybe like chin mudra where you've thumb and a forefinger together. And then bring the hands over the head, namaste, and then down through the centers, down to the heart again. Relaxing your shoulders, then bringing hands back down and bringing your foot back down. Lovely. Fantastic. I can see some of you, and there's some good trees going on there. Okay, so planting your right leg and taking your options. So tiptoe on the ground, calf, thigh up here. So if you're up in the thigh, it's quite nice to so you really get it in as kind of high up as possible, ideally. And the main thing is you're opening up your hip. Then bringing your hand to the heart center. And don't forget, you can put a finger on the wall. And if it's too much for your hip, don't forget, you can actually just lift up your foot. Have a little balance. Remembering to lift up your pelvic floor, lifting up and holding in your abdominal muscles. You could take your tree branches if you want a mudra, you could have one of those here. Thumb and forefinger together. Bring yourself up. Branches of the tree, swaying in the breeze. Taking lovely deep breaths. And hands over the head and the Anjali Mudra, Namaste, and then down through the centers to the heart. Opening up the palms and then releasing down. Lovely, perfect. Nice. Okay, fantastic. So let's open up our legs. This is actually where this comes handy here. So these blocks, I don't know if anyone's got anything, we're going to do wide leg forward fold, Prasalita Parsottasana. So we here, you may not need the blocks. So don't worry if you haven't got any. But if you find it tricky coming forward, then it might be useful. So you're bending your knees slightly as you come forward, protecting your lower back, lifting up pelvic floor and abdominal muscles here, lifting up your core muscles, bringing yourself down. So you can use bent knees and then finding yourself. So it might be that you're on the mat and then you can straighten your knees. And it's a lovely stretch of your inner thighs and backs of your legs and everything. So you might be wanting to do it really wide like this. That can be really lovely. And then you come down, or you might have your legs closer. So just see how it is. It's just kind of different. If you've got anything to put your hands on, then you can actually, just means you can kind of like come down, but without feeling that you've got something to rest on. So you don't feel like you're being kind of pulled by gravity so much. You've got something to rest on. But if you haven't got blocks, that's okay. You might just actually end up hanging here anyway, like this. Or just put your hands down or bend your knees quite a bit. So it's okay to see how it is. The blocks are fantastic if you've got them. So it could be books. Okay, so I'm just gonna, if you're down and you're fine, stay down. If you haven't gone down yet, you can come down with me now. So hands on hips, bend the knees slightly, and then bringing yourself down and coming to wherever it is that you come down. Exhaling deep breaths and lifting through your arches of your feet. So you're not collapsing in your arches, you're lifting through the arches, and also you're lifting up your toes slightly. And you can let your neck hang, so you're really allowing your neck to be lovely and soft. And then to come out, if you've been down there for a while, because some of you would have gone down initially when I did, you come into a flat back,
So you have you're on your tiptoes, not tiptoes, whatever they're called, fingertips. Flat back, bend your knees, so make sure your knees are bent, hold your hands on your hips and bring yourself really gently up. And if you're loving it so much, you can always stay there a little bit longer. I'm hoping that felt okay with everyone, because we could do the shoulder one. So if you don't want to do that anymore, so just opt out and we'll be coming down to the mat so you can bring yourself down. But if you were okay doing the one with the shoulders involved, you can bring your shoulders out to a T, arms out to a T, and then clasp behind you. So this is a clasp here, like this. Open up the shoulders, inhale, open up the shoulders. Bend the knees slightly. Bring yourself down very carefully. Making room. And then allowing your hands, your clasped hands, to go as far over as they can. So it might feel like they're going over your head, they probably aren't, but it might feel a little bit like that. But they might be really quite, if you've got quite tight shoulders or, you know, really muscly shoulders, you might find you've got that they don't go far off your sacrum either. So just see how it is for you. So you might be opening up your clasp as well. So the fingers are still joined, but the palms of the hand aren't. And really just enjoy this shoulder stretch. Enjoy the shoulder stretch and see how that is. It doesn't matter how far you go. So to come back up, bring the hands back to the sacrum and then round to your hips, bend your knees, coming into flat back. Remember your abdominal muscles, so really bring in your abdominal muscles to bring you up. You're protecting the lower back and then gently bringing yourself back up. Fantastic, great. Okay, so we'll bring our feet in a little bit and we're going to come down onto the mat, but we'll do it with our little kind of cosmic egg thing that some people call it. So we're going to come onto our tiptoes, and then we'll bring ourselves down on tiptoes if possible. Coming down and then holding around knees and lower legs. Things. Sitting on tiptoes. Into a tiny little ball. And then bring yourselves down onto the mat. Okay, great. So we'll bring ourselves down here. So lying on your back, and we'll start by bringing the right leg, this right leg here, and we're going to put it over the left leg. And so the ankle, the right ankle is resting over the left leg. So this sometimes gets called reclined pigeon, or a leg cradle sometimes as well, actually. So if you, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I've got my right ankle over my left thigh, and then I'm bringing my hands behind here, and I'm clasping behind my thigh, behind my left thigh, and then I'm taking hold, and I'm allowing my legs to really gently move in, so exhaling my legs in. Now, if this is difficult for you, quite often a blanket underneath your head will really, really help, so that you're not having to stretch, because some people find it difficult to actually put the head back down. It's all a bit tight. So you can put a blanket or a cushion or something under your head. That's quite nice. Oh, it's quite nice, actually. Makes it all very comfy. I like that. So yeah, like this, and then also, if you find it very difficult, some people like to use a strap or a scarf or something like that, and they put it behind the thigh, behind your left thigh, and that helps you draw it in. The thing you're stretching is your glute muscles and that hip, your hip all the way on the right hip. So flexing your right foot as well. And every time you exhale, you can draw it in a little bit more. And every time you inhale, you're allowing it to move a little bit further away. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale in. Inhale. Relax back. And then releasing down. And then bringing the left leg over, like a cross, like over your right side. Do whatever you possibly can. Some people go over by the shin, actually, like this. So just see whatever's comfortable. So remember the breath. You're exhaling the legs towards you. Breathing in and exhaling.
You're the only one unmuted.
This is embarrassing.
That's lovely. So remember your breath is really guiding the movement, because even though you don't, it feels like it's a static thing, it's not. You're a bit like bellows.
What were we talking about this again?
And then releasing
I'm going to go before.
down. It's lovely. Okay. Then we're bringing our arms out to the side. So our arms are out like a T. And just maybe about an inch down from where you, from so that they're not, the hands are not quite parallel with the shoulders there. Just about an inch down the shoulders. At the moment, our hips are in line with our chest and our head and our knees and our feet, all hip width apart. And then we're going to lift up the hips and we're going to place them 2 inches over to our right hand side. And so our feet are now not in line, so that the hips are not in line with the feet or the chest. And then we're going to exhale the knees over to the left side. So what we've done, you might have noticed, what we've done is now we've kept, by doing that, we've actually kept our head, chest, and hips actually in line now, because otherwise they would have been a bit wonky. So by doing that shift, there's like kind of, you've got one straight line running from your head down to your pelvis. And we're going to have a lovely, just a time here enjoying this twist. So hopefully it's an enjoyable experience of a gentle twist. That's not too extreme. But if you find that it's your top leg is just hanging there, the top foot, you can place your top knee, sorry, is just kind of waving around. You can place a blanket in between your knees. Or if you find you can't actually go down onto the mat properly, you can place a blanket underneath your bottom knee. There's a few things you can do just to modify. And if you're totally fine, you can just look over your right arm, so the opposite, your head is looking the opposite way from your knees. So there's quite a few modifications you could do. So if we're in a class together, I could come around helping you. But sadly not. So we're just going to enjoy it as it is. Remembering your lovely deep breaths. And then bringing your knees back up to center. And then your hips back into alignment. So you're putting your hips so that they're now as they were when we first started. And then making sure your arms are out as a T again. And then lifting up your hips off the mat and then over to the left side by about 2 inches. And then allow your feet and your knees as they were. And then you allow your knees over to the right. And your head is going over to the left. So remember that you could do any adjustments that you need to do. So blankets between the knees, or cushion between the knees, cushion or blanket underneath the knees. So see whatever's comfortable. You're just having a lovely, gentle twist. Nice deep breaths to enjoy being here. And then when you're ready, bring your head back to center, bring your knees back up, lifting up the hips and bringing them back so that they're in line with the rest of the body. And then bringing your knees into your chest and having a little rock from side to side. Bringing your feet up and taking hold of the outside edges of the feet if that's comfortable. It might be that that's not happening for you, so you take hold. You might even take hold of your thighs, the back of your thighs, so we're in happy baby. So see if your hands reach your feet and you can just rock. Or if you're super flexible and you want to take hold of your toes, you can have another stretch. But we have done a wide leg stretch today, so it might not feel so tempting to do that. Yeah, just rock around and really feel into whatever you want to do as a final bit of movement before Shavasana. Might be that you want your legs together and you can just flex and point the feet. Nice strong legs. And then bringing the legs down and coming into Shavasana. This is the corpse posture. So it's quite warm where I am. So I'm not going to need a blanket or anything. But if you feel like you need a blanket or a jumper or socks, you can bring yourself down. Sorry, I'm yawning. It's because it's Shavasana time. It's relaxation time. So bringing yourself down into this lovely resting posture. We're not going to be here for very long. So if you feel like you need to be here longer, you're very, very much invited to do that. That's I thoroughly approve. But because of timing, we're not going to be here so long as a group. So just really enjoy this time, this short time together, relaxing. And allow your body to properly rest on the mat. Feeling the relaxation move through your body, right through you from the head, down, all the way down your arms, your chest, your belly, your back. Total relaxation down all the way down your hips, legs, knees, onto your feet. Fully relaxed all over your whole body is relaxed. Deep, full relaxation. Feeling yourself completely held by the mat, by the foundations of the building, the earth beneath this building, held by the mothering support. Feeling that support, feeling that cocoon. Cocoon of care, nurturing. Feeling deep care and relaxation. Deep softening. Deep restfulness. Deep breath. Start to deepen your breath. Begin to find some movement in your body. Maybe you take your knees in for a hug to your chest. Rock your head from side to side. Gently find your way onto your side of your body. And make your way up to seated when you're ready. Obviously, if you want to stay resting for longer, you're completely welcome. To complete this practice, we will chant on vibration 3 times, finishing with Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Breathing in together. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And taking the hands up into Prana Mudra above the head. Taking 3 deep, life-affirming breaths. Then bring the hands into Namaste and down through the centers. Sahasrara at the crown, Ajna at the third eye, Vishuddhi at the throat, and Anahata at the heart center. Namaste. And thank you for joining me. It's wonderful for you to come. You joined in for Butterfield. That's fantastic. And actually, yeah, this is I'm only doing these 2. I was going to do 3, but I'm just doing these 2. And I look forward to seeing you in a field next year, if not before. Yeah, doing some yoga together. Great, and thank you so much for joining me. I will, yeah, so I was just going to say that I've put up in the chat box, it's my yoga channel. I don't know if all of you were here at the beginning. It's YouTube, my YouTube yoga channel, and so I've got lots of videos, so all free videos. You can just use them as much as you want. It's in the chat box as a link, but it's Yoga with Joy. And of course there's tons of yoga on there, so get swamped and you'll have to try and find me, but it's yeah, Yoga with Joy, and quite a lot of gentle yoga, but I'm just uploading as much as possible. So yeah, every week, or I'm trying to do twice a week, and I have a YouTube live on Wednesday morning as well, 9:30 to 11. So you can just always drop in. It's great because you just drop in. I don't even know you're there. It's like, hi. Yeah, so basically just, yeah, check out the videos and subscribe if you want to and things like that. But it's just really lovely to share yoga. That's why I'm doing it. I just want to keep sharing yoga. So Yoga with Joy.